Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I am thinking about, hoping that this kind of turns into a thread of some kind. And what I would like to do is, we're coming into the end of the fall season, the autumn, for those of you overseas. And I just thought it'd be a good idea just to show 5 albums that you listen to in the fall. So I'm going to go ahead and start. These are just albums that they get me in the fall spirit. It's not quite time to listen to Christmas music, even though I listen to Christmas music all the time. Uh, well, I can listen. I don't listen to Christmas music all the time, but I can. But these are albums that I listen to them, and they're kind of like a little niche, little time that I'm like, okay, I can listen to these, and then I kind of put them away until the next fall. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start. The first thing that I can really jump into is this guy right here, Nick Drake. I could have picked any Nick Drake album. I happen to pick Pink Moon. It's his most popular out of his 3 studio releases. I'm trying to collect everything that I can that has Nick Drake associated with it. So I have his 3 albums. I have a couple of comps that came out with some alternate mixes, some demos, and that sort of thing. Nick Drake, his lyrics evoke autumn. They're very bleak. They're not loud. It's very, you can listen to it in the morning with your coffee, or you can listen to it in the evening when you're kind of contemplating the day. Just a really great, soft singer-songwriter from the UK. Very tragic life. I've actually done a video on Nick Drake that I might try to remember to post down here. But I love Nick Drake. I mean, he was a career that should have been much greater than it was. But I'm glad he's finally kind of getting respect now that younger artists are really starting to hear just the beautiful melodies that he brought forth on that guitar. So Nick Drake, this is Pink Moon. Again, any Nick Drake album I could have picked. This is the one that I grabbed though. Then I'll show this one. This is kind of like a of course you're listening to this. This is it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, but it's the beautiful jazz music of Vince Guaraldi, who did all the original Peanuts TV specials. This one, I mean, it just sounds so much like Halloween. It sounds like October, and this one is specific to October and October alone. I only listen to this album in October. I try to listen to it as much as I can. I think I listened to it about 4 times last month. Obviously, it's the soundtrack to the TV special. This just came out last year. This was a big deal because it's the actual soundtrack music. Before this album came in this form, it was just released as essentially the music ripped directly from the TV special. So you had like the dialogue in the record. So this was like a huge grail for Guaraldi fans because it was just the music from the studio, and it sounds really, really cool. And this particular one has a few extra takes as bonus cuts, but beautiful, beautiful stuff. Absolutely love that special and love Vince Guaraldi. Another early fall listen for me is Harvest Moon by Neil Young. This was kind of a sequel to his album Harvest from the 70s. This came out in 1992, had a lot of the same musicians on it, including James Taylor and Linda Ronstadt doing some background vocals. Great stuff on here. Obviously, the fall song on here is Harvest Moon, but even songs like One of These Days, which is very kind of, it's Neil singing in his higher register. Hank to Hendrix is awesome. Unknown Legend just kicks off the mood and the feel of the album with that guitar riff, that bow now now, and then just fantastic band. Arranged by Jack Nietzsche, who his name is all over the Laurel Canyon folks like Neil. Old King is about a dog. It's got this like cool little banjo that I think Neil is playing. Such a Woman is beautiful, which actually that's the song that Jack Nietzsche arranged. War of Man is great. It's got the great background vocals on it by Linda. But Harvest Moon by Neil Young, you've got to check it out if you don't know it. One of the very few Neil albums that I own. This is Keep Me Singing by Van Morrison. Now, a lot of Van's music, I mean, going back to like Moondance, where he talks about, the song Moondance, "'Neath the Cover of October Skies." That's, blatantly about the fall. But this album in particular, it took me a long time to warm up to. This was from 2016. It's all original Van music, with the exception of, I think, one song. Um, let's see, I think it was Every Time I See a River was written by Van Morrison. No, it's the lone cover was called Share Your Love With Me, but everything else is a Van Morrison original. This just it's none of these songs really swing except for one track called Too Late, which was the single. So like I got the album expecting it to sound like Too Late, which is like a classic sounding like Van Morrison song. Like it would have been a hit in the 70s. But everything else on here, like Let It Rhyme, is just so poignant. Every Time I See a River, he sings the line about, will you meet me by the wishing well? Just he keeps repeating it. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Keep Me Singing, the title track, is beautiful. The Pen is Mightier Than the Sword is kind of a bluesy track. Holy Guardian Angel, it's got a great sound, and it closes with an instrumental, which he's put on a few albums, called Caledonia Swing. Um, Check it out. Keep Me Singing. It's a great later day Van Morrison album. Like seriously, it is very, very good. Check it out. Again, it's not one that kicks, but it's got a lot of feel to it. So Keep Me Singing. And then lastly, I'm showing this kind of in lieu of showing the actual movie, but usually around Thanksgiving time, this is going to be pulled out, even though I've already listened to it a few times already this year. The Last Waltz, I usually try to watch it on Thanksgiving after I've had a big breakfast with some family, and usually between that and my supper in the evening, I come back to my place and watch The Last Waltz for the last two Thanksgivings. It's kind of become a new tradition now that I've been at this place. So again, this is the band's last hurrah. When they were the original quintet with Robbie Robertson, obviously they would reunite without Robbie in the early 80s. But I mean, again, this is like just the who's who of the 1970s with Joni Mitchell, Neil Diamond, Bob Dylan, Ronnie Hawkins, Eric Clapton, Dr. John, Neil Young, Paul Butterfield, Muddy Waters, Bobby Charles. So, this is just a fantastic, it's the greatest concert of all time. I mean, it is. It's the greatest concert of all time. There's nothing that's even come close to it, in my opinion. Just listening to I Shall Be Released and Caravan on here would put it, head over heels above so many other concerts. But then, like, they just do great versions of, The Night That Drove Old Dixie Down. Helpless with Neil Young is gorgeous. Ophelia is awesome. Let me see. Manish Boy is just muddy and just like it takes its time. It's awesome. So The Last Waltz to close out the fall, and then I'm definitely getting into the Christmas season after Thanksgiving ends. But I want to see what y'all say. Try to make this a thread if you would. I mean, that'd be kind of cool to kind of close out the year on my channel with this little thread, and show me what you're listening to in the fall. I mean, it can be 5 albums, it can be whatever. Just show me some of your fall playlist. So in the meantime, y'all be good. Take care. Subscribe. Thank you all for the new subscriptions, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye now.